Greetings, people. It's Mr. Pull the Trigger yet again on another episode of the Enlightenment series. So, on this part, it's number 3, episode 3 of the money laundering strategies in your African churches, specifically Nigerian churches. Those are the ones that we're using as a case study because we have intel from someone who used to work with them doing this laundering things for them. So now you wonder why these churches are so filthy rich, why the DGOs are so rich like that. And most of you have been made to believe that it's tithes. Most of you have been made to believe that it's offering. And they also try by all means to emphasize on tithes and offerings so that you get guilt-trapped into thinking that it's tithes and offering that is sustaining them. But what your tithes and offering does in their lives, in their financial lives, is minuscule as compared to what the other sources of their revenue does. The private jets are not bought with your tithes and offering. The Lamborghinis, the Rolls Royces, the huge establishments, the school academies, the universities that they build, the magnificent church buildings that they construct, that money is not coming from your tithes and offering. Your money is just a drop. Your tithes and offerings is just a drop in an ocean. But they have something big going on behind the scenes. Which brings you people to the question, the idea behind these episodes, especially these ones concerning the money laundering schemes that these people do, that are not known to the public. But these are not only affecting their church members, these are affecting the economy at large. So it's very important that you people have an insight of the damage that is being caused by these so-called religious institutions operating as churches. These are business enterprises. They have nothing to do with the charity that they claim to be representing. These are not non-governmental organizations as they have registered themselves. These are legit business institutions. And for that, I still encourage our governments to revisit the constitution so that they can be taxed. Why should Adeboye have several jets or a depot? Why do they need several jets? These are business people. Why should they not be taxed? Why should they have all these merchandise and selling of different materials, spiritual materials as they call them, if they're charity organizations? Where are they putting all this money? What are they using this money all for? These are business institutions that the government need to beam light on this aspect that we are discussing right here concerning how they are making their money, how they are generating their income. But it's going to be difficult for the governments to do something about this because we have some key players in the government system that are in collaboration with these churches. Or some of you are asking now, so how do they launder this money? I'm having conversations with the accountant. So if this is your first episode, remember this is part 3. If this is the first episode that you have bumped into, you have jumped into, and you need a background information of where this is coming from, please go down, scroll down my platform, check the other 2 episodes that we have done already. They'll give you a little bit of background information as to where we are coming from and where we are going. Because we need to establish certain things here. We need to put these people on a scale so that we can know, so that the people can know if these are people that we should allow to coexist with us in this society or on this landscape of religion, or we need to put pressure on the government to put these people behind bars. They say money laundering. Those are just fancy terms to describe criminals. What these people really are, they are thieves. They are stealing money. Money that is supposed to benefit you and me. Money that is supposed to develop our countries, our economies, our nations. Money that is supposed to build more factories, more warehouses, developmental projects that will reduce the unemployment rate in our countries. So if we do not address this, if we do not beam light on these activities that are being done under the guise of a religious institution, under the guise of a church, we will continue to suffer. And forever we will. Remember, the responsibility of our future lies within our hands. We do not have to count on the governments to take action on our behalf. They will not, because they are comfortable. Remember, government is just a term, but in the government we have people. Amongst those people, some have different agendas. Some they are corrupt. Some are thieves in these institutions, in this institution called the government. Remember, the power that they have is the power that we give them. So when we want to demand things from them, they should be in a position to deliver. At this particular point in time, we are demanding that they put these people to question. Well, these people are robbing us. These people are destroying our societies, are destroying our economies. And we will never go any far as long as we keep tolerating these people. You can never change what you tolerate. We have to encourage each other to get to a point whereby we say, no, enough is enough. And this is the point whereby we have to start a revolution. Let's not wait for next year. Let's not wait for God. Let's not leave this in God's hands. God will never come down and make things right for us. God will use me and will use everyone around us to bring change, the change that we want. So I want you to listen to the part 3 of the conversation with the accountant as he explains how they get jets, how they get these luxurious possessions. And the other question that I want you to be asking is, do they own these jets, or they're just used as decoys by corrupt people, by corrupt politicians, by corrupt business people? And we have another aspect that is going to touch on again, which involves waivers. There is more that we're going to discuss. Here we're just scraping the surface so that we give you an insight of the things that are happening. Here we're just laying the foundation. But I'm going to have a deep conversation with the brother, with the accountant, and things that will come out from that conversation, they will shock you. You will realize that these human beings that you call pastors, prophets, bishops, the DGOs, they are the worst criminals in our societies than the armed robbers that you see stealing from people. The money that these people have stolen from us, because the money that they take from the system, it's our money. The money that they've stolen over the years is probably 10 times or 100 times more than the money that thieves, ordinary thieves, armed robbers have stolen in their entire lifetime. That's how bad it is. You can never have an idea of these things unless we expose them. And we need to start putting our governments to question. Because if we put these churches to question, they'll never respond. And right now, this information is making them tickle. They're sweating in their pants right now. So this is the information that really hits home. So I want you to pay attention to detail. I want you to open your ears and your eyes. And before you become defensive, try to be reasonable and connect the dots. So listen to the brother, listen to the accountant.
I think it's about time people begin to ask the necessary question. The reason why I'm bringing this to light is, and I'm taking a great risk to share this, because a lot of people may be hearing this for the first time. And if you are out there and think maybe this guy is just saying what he doesn't know, it's okay. I don't want you to believe me. And if you are out there and begin to put 1 and 2 together, I would say congratulations to you. Then, because you need to begin to ask the right questions. If you have the right set of information, then if you are the type out there that believes that, no, maybe this guy doesn't know what he's saying, this message is not for you. But if you think, yes, this is making some sense, because the other group of people, even if Jesus himself should appear and explain things to them, they will still not believe Jesus. They are like Thomas. They will still not believe. So there's no need to waste energy, and this message is not for, it's just for these few selected people. They may just be 3% of the Nigerian youth that will begin to now question a lot of things, that will begin to put bills together for the Senate, for the Nigerian Senate to consider, because they will never have a future if this racket continues. It has been going on for a very long time. You know, they used to use a very big, wealthy businessman in Nigeria with this. Politicians were using him for a long time. I don't want to mention his name. He's well known. In fact, people mention him a lot. They even envy him that he's a legitimate businessman. You know, he started very small. Today he's a big man and blah, blah, blah. But because they are fools, most of these people are fools. You know, they think that that is how so you think everybody just starts small like that and all of a sudden, boom. I'm not saying there are no people but this guy, that was not it at all. He was laundering money and was taking a percentage. But at some point, he was able to, over a period of time, able to get some legitimate credibility. And he started getting investors from Western countries. And he felt he can't take the risk anymore. So that's why a lot of these civil servants, and it's not just politicians that are doing this with, by the way, it's not just politicians that are doing this with churches. The civil servants, senior federal civil servants are doing this. They are doing this. They go to churches to launder money for them. Some of these GO, they launder money for them. So, and about private jets, let me attend to people that think that why does a man of God need more than one private jet? The reason is very simple. The reason is because the 3 private jet doesn't belong to him. That's just the reason. He only needs one, so you are correct in your assessment. But the reason is because the other 2 that he has, or maybe the entire 3, doesn't even belong to him in the first place. So what they do is this, prophets. This is what they do. Let me explain that part. Sometimes they ask them, because maybe some of them are still in office. It might be an elected official, it might be a minister, it may be a governor, but this is usually governors. And it may surprise you, some of these governors are not even Christians. The owners of this private jet are not even Christians. Some of them are Muslims. So what they do is that they route, just like the way I've explained, they route the money gradually in dollars through the pastor, through the church, through the microfinance bank, get offshore, they secure the private jet. Then the church will register the jet in its name. The church will register the jet in its name. So it will be announced that glory to God, the Lord helped us with being able to acquire a private jet, and the whole church will be so happy and they will celebrate God and blah, 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 blah. You know, the whole scenario and all that. So, and the jet will be parked at the airport, hangar. But you will realize that the real owner of the jet is going to be the person that is frequently using the jet to travel. It will make it look like he's borrowing the jet. But on monthly basis, there's a donation that goes to the church account. There's a monthly donation. That money is not a donation. That money is meant to take care of the maintenance, the salaries of the pilots, the crew, and all of those, so that this civil servant or this politician will have access to luxurious lifestyle while he's in office without attracting attention. And that is why these pastors are super powerful. If they come out, if you disagree with them on their doctrinal issues, you know, and I see people always shouting the Nigerian police. That has nothing to do with Nigerian police. Yes, maybe they don't, but you don't entirely blame the Nigerian police. If you entirely blame the Nigerian police, that means your thinking is quite shallow. The people that control those kind of arrests. So, for example, if you disagree with if they've done something very fake and you come out and contest it using the scriptures, and they feel offended, they feel insulted, they can, just from the comfort of their house, they can order arrest, and you'll be arrested. You will be jailed as long as they want. They can even tell a judge to jail you because they work for everybody. They work for governors, they work for ex-presidents, they work for existing governors, they work for current governors, they work for judges to help them launder different categories of money. So they've got power, and because of the information they have and the detail, the intelligence they've got on these people, I'm sorry, they can do and undo. They live above the law. So that is why it is quite difficult for you to seek justice with these guys, and you would, because it's a cartel, it's a ring of cartel that they are in the center of it. You know, they can pick you up in your state, take you to another state and suffer you because they've got the powers to do that. Because they work for these people. And these people don't want them to expose them. So that is how they buy the private jet and they maintain it. Then somebody else will approach them. They will do the same for the second person, the third person. And of course, because of course it's registered in their church name, it's registered in their name, they can use it as well as the owners, the true real owners of the jet. After a couple of time, when the person is out of office, there will be an announcement on the church website that Papa wants to sell one of his jets. And guess what? The real owner is going to be the person that is going to make an offer. And how dare you question the amounts the church, they don't even disclose the amount that they finally give it out to the person. And the private jet is flown to France or wherever it is, and they sell it at a very good price, and they return the money back. They transfer the money to an account that is provided by the real owner. So that is how the ring works. But they do this after they ensure that the Bureau of Public Conduct, there's a body, CCT or so, you know, because when you're a public official, your account is checked when you come into office, and when you leave office, your account is checked again to ensure that you're able to account for all the money you have. Once all of that is done and they've got the clearance, one church somewhere is going to declare that it's selling a private jet, and they were going to sign some funny agreement that the person will pay in installment for forever years, so that in case somebody comes back to ask question, how was the person able to afford that jet? So this is how these guys work, and that is why the development of any nation is based on righteousness. The Bible says it is righteousness that exalts a nation. My people are suffering today. They are in bondage today. They are wondering why healthcare is not working. They are wondering why educational system is not working. They are wondering why nothing is working. It's because where they thought they can find solace, where they thought they are going to have refuge, they are they are working in connivance, you know, in collaboration with their so-called political rulers to ensure that they are denied basic life. They are denied, because these things have got implication. It's got real life implication. But generally, Nigerians are sentimental. Nigerians are sentimental. Even if you show Jesus Christ himself appears in person and shows a Nigerian youth that has been on the streets of let's say Lagos for the last 7 years trying to make a living, and is a devoted worker of a church, and Jesus himself appears to him and shows him evidence how the Father in the Lord, his pastor, is working, is laundering money for politicians that would have created, for funds that would have created an opportunity for him or her. Guess what? That worker, that Nigerian youth that is suffering, will tell Jesus that Jesus is lying to his face and rather stick with his pastor. That is how complex this matter is. So, prophets, I want to encourage you again that no matter what you do, just put the truth out there. Like what I'm doing now. I just put the truth out there. One day, it might convert one person today. Tomorrow it might convert. It's a recording. People will listen to in future. And like, this guy really explained these things. Like I said, I'm just an accountant. Now, let me explain the other way they also make their money. This has to do with waivers. Now, I, as a contractor, I deal in real estate. I import a lot of building materials and this and this and this and this. Or maybe I import cars or I import things, and I'm duty bound, I'm legally bound to pay my duties to customs like you would do in any developed countries. You are supposed to pay your duties to the customs. And that's some of the ways the government generates revenue. But you know what these pastors do is they find a way to get waivers. So they secure waivers, and waiver is a document from the Ministry of Finance. And they get this document and they use this document to make money. Tell me how. What they do is that they have list of contractors that approach them to use their waiver to import things into Nigeria. I don't know if it happens in other African countries, but I'm telling you, when they tell you on the pulpit that you think it is your offering and tithe those are for girls. The offering and tithe you give to them, they are so small that maybe they use it to pay their oloshos and their aristos and some of these girls they use for their sacrifice. I tell you, that is not the kind of money they use for their real deal. So the other thing is, so what they do is that you as a contractor, I think I was told is between 10 to 15% or so, So what they do is that instead of me going to import this stuff and I pay my duties to customs, the order is going to be through the church. So my order is given to the church. The church places the order on my behalf. So when the goods arrive at the port, the church will give me a copy of the waiver. It's a letter. So they will give me a copy of the waiver. And of course the documents of the owner of the items declared at the port bears the name of a church. So all I need to do is to provide letter of representation from the church and a waiver. So once you show this to customs will automatically clear all your containers without you paying a dime. So what they do is that commission, which is not going to be as much as what you would have paid the federal government of Nigeria, that commission automatically goes to the set man of God. So that is why these guys are super rich, I'm telling you. And you can imagine how many people import things. How many contractors import a lot of things. The current government, when they came into office, realized that a particular church had a waiver. And they cancelled the waiver because they realized that within a space of 4 years, the church was busy importing a lot of things. And they're like, are these Bibles? They said, no, they are not Bibles. They range from building materials to automobiles to different kinds of things. So the current president of Nigeria says, no, enough is enough. Cancel the waiver. And they asked them, if these guys were to have paid for all the things they've imported, how much would it have amounted to? So I think the calculation I had was around 200 million or so. So I think they arrived at some amount that the church must pay, and the particular church I'm talking about, the man of God went on the pulpit, he was laying calls on the government, that this and that. But most of the church members were screaming and shouting, Amen, 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 without actually understanding what was going on with their papa, with the government. That the government was demanding that the right thing should be done, and that they suspect a foul play with the way they've abused their waiver. So, but you know what? These pastors don't tell their members what exactly is going on with things. They will just come and declare curses on the government, and their members will continue to scream amen. And these same members will go to radio stations and begin to complain, to radio presenters that the country is bad, the Nigerian government is bad, that these things are not improving for them, and all of these things. For example, okay, don't let me give an example. If I give an example, I'll be forced to give name. I don't want to give out the name of any company. I don't want to give out the name of any church. So, Prof X, this is just what I wanted to share with you. I believe in future there will be room for me to be much more explicit. But the reason I'm sharing this is to rattle the cage a little and to actually get some thinking Nigerians. If it's just 1% of the Nigerian youth, let them begin to think in this direction, that there's a lot going on. There was a time, there was an headline, I'll mention it because it was in the headline, that the former EFCC boss was said to have transferred a sum of 500 and something million into a pastor's account in Abuja. And the man of God, I think, claimed that the man was a son in the Lord. That was just caught in the act. All of them are doing it. All of them. It was all over the whole news in Nigeria. And guess what? The news died down. The news died down. I think they even claimed that it was a mistake, that the money was transferred by error. How can the former boss of EFCC, he is not even a Christian? What business does he have with a pastor of a church? I guess maybe the percentage was too high. That was why he decided to use that sloppy pastor, and the whole thing got exposed. So they are all doing it. They are all doing it. There's even one that is a crook in Abuja. They all used to claim they have this number sitter church. They are all money laundering. They are all doing money laundering. That's another thing they do. Some of them use it to execute church projects. They use the money to execute church projects. Some of them do into real estate. They go into real estate. You see so many properties in Lagos that so many companies are claiming that they are real estate companies. Nobody is buying these houses, and these houses are locked up. The reason why they build these houses is not for people to occupy them. The reason why they build these houses is they build it for these churches. They keep it there for a couple of years, then they will eventually sell them to get the cash out when then the coast is clear. So this is the kind of economy that we run, in this part of the world, and there's no freaking way such a kind of economy can work like Canada. There's no way such kind of economy can work like the US. If you replicate the same economic policy of the US or economic policy of Canada, considering all the geographical factor, the cultural factor, and whatever it is you want to factor in,
So this is our accountant. I hope you can put 1 and 2 together. I hope you are joining pieces together. I hope you're connecting the dots. So I'm going to put a pause for now to give you an opportunity to ask all the questions that you want to ask or anything that you have not understood. Because where we are going is going to be a little bit deeper now. So before we proceed, I want to make sure that we are on board. I want to make sure that everyone is getting the sense of what is being spoken about. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section. I do go through each and every comment so that we can address this issue before we engage into deeper things that you need to know. And we need to appeal to the international boards to intervene on this case, to intervene on these matters, and start also doing investigations and start checking the accounts of these people. Because they can't keep doing this to our economies. We will never develop. We will never move forward. This is the time when we need to bring down corruption. And the corruption, it begins now. The revolution starts now. Things will never put themselves in place unless we do it. So please reanalyze everything we've spoken about this far. This is part 3. And we still have several more episodes to come, which will bring you people more light and understanding of how much we are being robbed in the name of God, by the people we trust so much, by the people we give our faith to think that they are going to bring a transformation in our spiritual lives. They have forgotten about the flock. They don't care about the flock. They don't care about your spiritual life. But what they care about is their pockets, enriching themselves at your expense. So I'm going to check you again on the next episode of the Enlightenment series. But before we do that, before we move on to more sensitive things concerning these syndicates, ask everything that you need to ask. And if we are all on the same page, then give me the green light to proceed. And then we'll continue. Because I want to make sure that this hits home. Do share this message. Share all the other previous 3 episodes that we have done concerning this money aspect. How money is being stolen from our countries using these churches. Share everything. We need to enlighten the people. We need to challenge our people to start thinking, to start observing, and to start questioning, asking the right questions. And after we ask the questions, we move. We take action. We fight. So it's Mr. Pull the Trigger. Till I meet you again on the next episode of the Enlightenment series, I'm out.